surrounded by wrestling fans. Not sports entertainment fans. Professional wrestling fans! Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up! This is
the Wrestling Matters Podcast, a podcast that stands up for professional wrestling. Why? Because wrestling matters. So join the revolution, because the revolution is now. Hey, start the show.
World, look into my eyes. When you see me on a show, when you see these fans, you know you've got the best in the damn world. We are ICW and you're gonna know our name. Here we fucking go!
Ladies, gentlemen, wrestling fans and ICW fans, welcome to episode 2 of my weekly ICW podcast. My name is Anthony Walker, the HD88 of the day, and today, last week I reviewed Barrowmania. This week I'm going to review The Princess is in Another Castle, which is the Nottingham show, and it was a great show. You can see this show on demand, £3.75 a month, as well as other great shows, including Boom Shakalaka, which I'll be reviewing next week. You get to see Boom Shakalaka, you get to see... What else do you get to see? Paperboy, Shug's House Party. If I said that wrong, I apologise, but you get to see the very first annual event. You get to see Fear and Loathing, the night where Drew Galloway won the title. You get to see another Fear and Loathing from, I believe it's 2012 or 2010, somewhere around about there, but it's an old one. Features Mikey Whiplash and Grado and some Skittles. And you get to see Rhino making his debut in ICW as well, and also he's coming back to ICW as well in July at the second annual Shug's House Party. And he will meet Wolfgang, and you get to see all great ICW content for £3.75 a month. I can't stress that enough. I'm proud to be a subscriber to it because it's the fucking shit. And for £3.75 a month, when I first heard that, I was like, sign me up. I'm in. So without further ado, ladies and gents, we're going to review The Princess is in Another Castle right now from Nottingham. And it kicks off with James R. Kennedy promo and comes out and says that Red Lightning put him in charge because the GM could not make it to the show. And he also says that the 55 will be running things and demands respect from the crowd. Will he got it? Well, we'll find out later on in the show. Chris Renfrew starts off going one-on-one with Mikey Whiplash. This was probably to stick up for BT Gunn. As Whiplash comes out though, Wolfgang attacks him and the NAK begin a beatdown on Dick. But Dickie comes out, Dickie Davis, the former member of the New Age Clique, and Whiplash says, fuck this, let's go make it a tag match, which turned into Dickie Davis and Mikey Whiplash against the New Age Clique, Chris Renfrew and Wolfgang. The Whiplash dives, Mikey Whiplash dives on the NAK outside, and then Davis does the exact same thing. Renfrew takes a backdrop on the stage. Whiplash hits the zombie maker, then gets speared by Wolfgang. A CM Punk knee, then a bulldog by Davis. Dickie Davis, that is. Jumping DDT from the second rope by Davis, near fall. Then Davis takes a drop kick by Renfrew. Yes, you heard me correct. And Renfrew gets a near fall. We have a tag match, ladies and gentlemen, because it was an alright fight to begin with. Wolfgang hits a delay suplex, gets a near fall. NAK in control of Davis. Davis in a lot of trouble. A double team on Davis by the NAK. Davis fights off top rope suplex and hits a double drop kick. Whiplash gets tagged in and the fight back is on and he hits a second rope double back elbow. Springboard double back elbow when you just jump on the second rope and just back elbow back. A sit down powerbomb by Whiplash gets a near fall. Top rope senton by Whiplash as well. Super kick by Davis. Then a Shining Wizard gets a near fall. Then goes to a fight with Chris. Chris hits the stunner, then Wolfgang hits a senton, and the NAK win it, which was a great tag team match to start off. More of that to come. Now the Zero G title was defended next. Kenny Williams versus Lewis Garvin, or some people say the now modern day Drew Galloway. Garvin attacks Kenny from the start and gets the advantage, then Kenny hits a spinning heel kick and Garvin dives on Kenny and takes advantage on the outside. Garvin grounding Kenny on the mat. Garvin using his wrestling to control Kenny. Kenny hits a clothesline after taking a headbutt, then dives on Garvin on the outside. Garvin hits the, I believe it's the Koji clutch, which is you do kind of like a mic check, and then you lift your legs up and you get him like a submission hold with your right leg or your left leg, depending on what side you're doing it from, across the face and wrenching back. It's a move well known in Japan. Great wrestling match for the title, the Zero G Championship. Both men bringing new moves in the match. Yep, some new moves that was never shown. Bro kick to board. Garvin gets a near fall. That means he just kicked the board back in. He kicked the skateboard back into Kenny's face and gets a near fall. A running knee by Kenny on Garvin, and Kenny ends up retaining the championship. Whiplash promo on NAK and says it is war. Garvin moaning because he did not win the championship and says he will take the title at some point. Kenny ends up celebrating his victory. And then on to Noam Dar, one-on-one with a relatively newcomer to the ICW roster and current host of WTTV, Marty Skrull. That's Wrestle Talk TV to you and I, ladies and gents. A feeling out process to start off. Marty slowing down the pace of the match until Noam Dar locks in the SDF, which Marty escapes. I believe Marty broke Noam's fingers. Exactly what I can't remember who did, but Soa got exactly the same thing at the Friday Night Fight Club show that I reviewed. He got exactly the same thing. I believe it was Lewis Garvin that did it, actually. I believe. I might be wrong, but I'll have to check that. Even so far, they played a game of one-upmanship. The Junior Master with a kick to Marty's mouth. That's Noam Dar with a kick to Marty's mouth. Back and forth match, so even. Series of pins, gets near fall. Marty lands a kick and gets a near fall. Chop fest, match getting heated. Pump handle neck breaker, near fall by Marty. Noam Dar gets a near fall, locks leg lock on Marty, and Marty taps out and Noam is the win. Marty backstage promo says Marty is coming to London and he's going to right the wrong, because it seems he's been here now, he's been involved in ICW now for 2 times and he's lost both matches, so he's going to London to change everything. Now, for the main event of the first half of the show, which saw BT Gunn one-on-one with the one and only Sabu. Now, apparently everybody did not want to sign up for this match, and BT Gunn said, I'll do it. And then BT Gunn steps in. BT spits blood in Sabu's face to get control. Sabu takes the fight to him early on in the match, and the fight ends up on the outside. BT went for a dive, but runs into a chair. Sabu using the chair to his advantage. Air Sabu in the corner. Bulldog counted into a powerbomb and gets a near fall by BT. Slingshot leg drop, classic Sabu. Gets a near fall, then puts him in the camel clutch, controlling BT and slowing him down. BT grounding Sabu well, trying to at least. BT maintains control. Classic Sabu, Arabian face buster on Sabu. But on air, BT by Sabu gets a near fall. Flying clothesline, both men go to the outside. Both men have chairs. Chair fight, Sabu wins, hits the Arabian facebuster again and gets a near fall. Super kick and a near fall by Sabu. I believe the super kick was from BT. Figure 4 sharpshooter like on Sabu by BT. Whiplash comes out, interferes. Whiplash spits blood. Sabu hits BT with a chair, then hits the top rope Arabian facebuster, and Sabu wins. Sabu tried to shake the hand of BT, but BT was having none of it, and it all went backstage from there. Maybe it's because the fact that he didn't like Sabu taking advantage of what Whiplash did, to be honest with you. That's why they didn't shake hands. But anyway, great match, great first half. I'm going to call it a time out there, and I'll be back right after these messages with part 2, so stay tuned. For new episodes of the Wrestling Matters podcast, as well as other great professional wrestling related content, be sure to check out the Wrestling Matters channel on YouTube at www.youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters. You'll get weekly episodes of the podcast, and you'll get other great wrestling content as well. Be sure to check it out, subscribe, like, and do all that good stuff. The Wrestling Matters channel, where wrestling matters on YouTube. If you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, why not check out the Wrestling Matters podcast Facebook fan page at www.facebook.com/WM podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
Be sure to listen to the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast.
What?
Every Sunday with Kenny Killer and the Galdem Sugar Shubs.
Yes!
With all the news, views, and laughter that you want.
They like jet airplanes. They like long limousines.
Every Sunday, the Sunday Segway Wrestling Podcast on Podomatic, iTunes, and YouTube.
So why don't you choke on that, slapnut?
If you're a fan of the Wrestling Matters podcast, be sure to check out the Wrestling Matters podcast Twitter page at WM Podcast for news, reviews, and upcoming episodes, and you will be let know on various other topics as well in the world of professional wrestling. So if you like the Wrestling Matters podcast, be sure to follow the Wrestling Matters podcast on Twitter at WM Podcast. Wrestling Matters, wrestling fans.
The 55 brawling at ringside, still beating down Grado.
Wait, oh my god!
Is that?
Billy!
That's Bram!
Billy, it's Bram!
Whoa!
TNA Superstar Bram is in the ring!
Oh
my god!
Whoa! He's just absolutely another.
What the hell?
The 55, Simon, they said they were going to make a statement. They said they were going to do it on English soil.
Bram is in the building and he is destroying everything in his path.
Ladies, gentlemen, welcome back to part 2 of this very special ICW podcast. Now, you probably heard it there, that was TNA's, that was an audio on TNA's Bram joining or making his ICW debut. I will be reviewing that show in the coming weeks, so listen up for that. And that was him joining the 55. That was right before Barrymania, which was March 28th, so I'll be reviewing that in the coming weeks, so listen out for that and look out for it too. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, I will get back to part 2 of The Princess is in Another Castle. So, the next match after the BT Gunn Sabu match, which was the tag team titles, Polo Promotions team of Jackie Polo and Mark Coffey defend the belts against the Bucky Boys. Now, Coffey and Stevie Boy start the match. The champ's in control, Stevie Boy in some trouble. Polo hits Polo Slam, which is the power slam moves that he does. Apparently they even said he trademarked it, but I doubt it. Davey tags in and the Buckies keep Jackie in the corner. Tags in and out by the Bucky Boys, isolating Jackie. Snap dropkick gets a near fall, double teaming Jackie. Bucky's in charge, Jackie fighting back and hits Polo Slam and tags in Mark. Polo Promotions in control. Series of Polo Slams by Jackie. Polo in control until he misses the elbow from the second rope. Stevie Boy gets a fight back, hits an awesome arm drag and kicks Mark in the face. Pace quickens when Stevie Boy gets in. Shoulder breaker by Jackie gets a near fall. Davey Boy hits a spear, gets a near fall. Pump up German suplex gets the win for Polo Promotions, and they retain the tag team titles as well. Now, the next match was kind of an odd one, because I believe it was supposed to be Joe Coffey one-on-one with Sha Samuels. But with Mr. Kennedy, James R. Kennedy involved and in charge, it went from that to being Joe Coffey versus the 55, which was the team of Kid Fight and Sha Samuels. Now, the 55 jumped Coffey to start the match. Coffey fighting back, hits a double clothesline rather. Numbers game with the 55, a double team on Coffey by the 55. Coffey in a lot of trouble. 55 continue to dominate Coffey. Coffey fighting back, hits a double drop kick on from the top rope. Coffey hits offense, rocking the 55. Coffey then swings Sha with Kid Fight on his back and hits a pop-up uppercut to Kid Fight, and the German gets a near fall. Kid Fight slowing down Joe Coffey, that is. Discus clothesline cover, but Kennedy stops it, and Kid Fight gets the win for the 55, leading to the Mighty Wrestler not being very happy and, quite frankly, enraged after the match, and obviously taking the whole blame, pointing the whole blame on one Red Lightning. Will this feud ever end, and will Red Lightning ever come out of retirement? We'll have to wait and see. Now for the ICW match. World Heavyweight title match between Grado, and he was challenging Drew Galloway. To start the match, a bit of a sing-song, and then eventually they end up both wrestling. Grado showing Drew he has something in the tank. Power advantage definitely with Drew Galloway. Grado showing a bit of power as well and getting a near fall on the champion. Mat wrestling so far, Grado hanging with the champion, going toe to toe with him. Grado using wrestling to control the champion, but the champ gets back in control. Collide and Drew received a low blow, which he did not take too kindly to, despite the fact of being an accident. Drew not happy with Grado, low blow angered him, and Grado fights back. Grado hanging with the champion, rolling slices missed. Drew hits overhead suplex, gets a near fall. Clothesline both men on the outside. A chop fight on the outside. Dive off the guardrail by Grado on Drew on the outside. Tilt the world backbreaker on the apron, which it's basically like a normal tilt the world backbreaker, but instead of doing it on the knee and everything, he did it on the apron. Clothesline to back of Grado's head, then another Grado's rocking. Grado counters the future shock, hits the rock bottom, gets a near fall. Drew hits a single leg drop kick, which is a single leg kick, the running kick that he does, and gets a near fall. Drew receives a drop kick to the abs area upside down when he's hanging in the corner in the tree of woe. Grado drop kicks him in the gut. Drew upside down. Grado goes to the second rope, and Drew unbelievably does a sit up and then grabs Grado and then basically German suplexes him from that position, which was fucking incredible. Absolutely incredible. Fists are flying in the center of the ring, back and forth fist fight between the two. Drew getting the best of Grado and gets his wish. Grado hits an F5, gets a near fall. Week 5. Grado has a drink bringing in a chair. Grado ends up going face first into the chair. Drew hits the tombstone, but Grado kicks out, much to Drew's shock. Drew brings in the chair looking and hits a power driver on the chair. Grado again kicks out, much to Drew's shock. Drew has a chair. Grado begs him not to do it. Grado hits a low blow. Drew counters the wee boot, hits the future shock, and wins the championship. And retains it, rather. Great match between the two. Great match. Show respect is unreal between the two. And then a music plays. Jack Jester comes out to everyone's amazement, shakes hands with Grado, then hits him with a chair. And yes, Future shocks Drew after hitting him with a chair Sabu style, which basically just throws the chair into the face. Looks at the title, beats down Drew with a steel chair, busting him open. Sets a chair and hits drop to the dungeon, which is the tombstone power driver, after Drew spat in his face, and makes a statement and claiming that he's back. Now, Coffee promo backstage, and again he's hell-bent on being the ICW champion and doesn't care who he has to go through to do it, and he's pissed off at the GM Red Lightning. And with that being said, ladies and gents, that is the end of all this, and I'm going to give my rating for this a 4.5 out of 5, but if I'm scoring it out of 10, I would give it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really, really good. 8 to 8.5, let's say. It was really good. Really good. Yeah, I mean, it was just great to watch, and like I said, you need to get the ICW on demand service to see this show. £3.75. You know, it's worth a shot, man. It's worth the money. Worth the price of admission. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of episode 2 of this special ICW podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for episode 3, which is Boom Shakalaka from Liverpool. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you good night and have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Peace.